When it comes to Bitcoin right now, there are two lines in the sand. One is below us and the other is above us. If you remember from that video, I drew two lines in the sand to determine where I was going to be, whether I was going to be a bull or a bear for the next few months. And as of right now, we are above the upper limit, which was $95,000. If we're going to hold above this level on a weekly candle, then what I'm expecting next is new all-time highs for Bitcoin within the next 30 to 60 days. But again, I need to say that I have been looking at the next month or two as an opportunity to exit most of the crypto that I've been accumulating. And so what is that exit going to look like? Let me give you a couple things that I'm looking for in terms of where I'm going to be a lot more conservative. First, let's zoom out to the Bitcoin weekly chart here. You can see this trend line drawn from the 2021 double peak. I am not expecting Bitcoin in May or June to break through this trend line to the upside. So where would that put us if we got up there? Maybe we could wick above the trend line and get to 115, maybe even 118. I'm not quite expecting the 120s over the next couple months for Bitcoin. If we get up there, I'm going to get a lot more conservative with anything correlated with Bitcoin. But with altcoins, I'm going to pay attention to Bitcoin dominance. If we see some sign of a dump in Bitcoin dominance, I'll hold on to my altcoins a little bit longer, as I would expect them to outperform Bitcoin for a short period of time. But all in all, that's going to be a time when I'll be looking to exit. Another sector that I'll be paying attention to is the stock market, and in particular, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. I am expecting the S&P 500 to get up to the 200-day moving average and get rejected there and then continue to move down for the remainder of this year. If it does get up to that level and it correlates with a new all-time high with Bitcoin, I'm going to get pretty aggressive with my exits in some stocks and in a lot of crypto. Same deal with the NASDAQ. We're looking at a price point between 18,000 and 18,500. This would be one of those things where if we saw all the stars align and every one of these, the Bitcoin hitting those levels that I already talked about, and the S&P and NASDAQ hitting the 200-day moving average, then in my opinion, especially if we get rejected there, that's going to be a great time to hit the reset button, to get into stables, get into cash, and to reload at a lower price point. Now, let me close this video with one bit of hopium here. If we were to see the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ break through the 200-day moving average, then my entire thesis for the remainder of this year flips, and I'm going to be a lot more bullish in stocks and in crypto. My overall outlook for the stock market is pretty grim. I think we're going to be struggling here, but perhaps we would have in front of us a COVID-like scenario where there was a V-shaped recovery, and or a 1998 scenario where it looked like it was over. We had one more big explosive move and then it was over. If that's the case, great. We'll see Bitcoin and hopefully some altcoins do very well for the remainder of this year. But then after that, I'm going to get very, very conservative.